Hey guys, welcome back. It's Grimreaper coming at you for another video for Raidshadowlegends. Hopefully you're doing well and hopefully looking after yourself and a positive start to the week wherever you are in the world. We're back on my account today and hopefully you're having a fantastic week. Today is Monday, so whereas you're watching this, I will be away on holiday for vacation for the next few days. We're going to go somewhere nice in the Thousand Islands in Indonesia. It's probably the first time I've been able to get away in 2 years, so really looking forward to our trip. I've got plenty of content planned over the next 4 days for you guys, and we'll be turning to streaming back on Thursday night, as I believe. So today we're going to do the top 10 epics that you should invest in for your account. Doesn't matter wherever you are in the game, between all the way from early game all the way to end game. Even if you're a Kraken, I feel like these epics will be a viable epics. Now, I'm going to pick 10 epics that I personally use on a weekly scale and actually inside my teams. I'm not going to pick the most common epic champions, etc., that you guys are aware of. I did want to kind of shine some light on some of these epic champions, and I've actually done some videos on these epic champions. So if I get time, I will put all the videos down in the description and what content we'll mention. I don't want this video to be too long. I want it to be roughly max 20 minutes, if that. So I will give a shout out to some of the epics anyway in the factions I also do use, but I wanted to kind of give you like the underrated ones that really can be quite strong in the game and probably get overshadowed a little bit from other champions like legendaries, etc. in its faction. So let's start this. We're going to go in faction order, so there's going to be no sequence in 1 to 10. If I pronounce any names wrong, I do apologize. I'm dyslexic, so I'll just read it how I see it as. And you can't really break stuff down when you're dyslexic because it's not that easy. So I really do apologize if you... I don't do it on purpose, right? So I do my best. Anyway, let's get into it. So top 10 epics that you should invest in. Before I shout out any of them, obviously the most common ones that you should really look at is Archhelm Archmage Helmet, Oathbound, Stag Knight, and Ursula are really solid epics across the board for PvC content. But today's choice is going to be Selnacia. So the reason why I'm picking him is actually for one of the Curse City stages. When Curse City was released, I didn't have Oathbound, and still to this day, I haven't pulled a copy of Oathbound. I pulled a lot of Oathbounds before that, but after that, haven't pulled another Oathbound, which is kind of crazy. But it is what it is, and I definitely will get one at some point. He's an epic champion in the day. So Senacio for me is one of the top 10 that you should invest in. He has an AoE provoke, which is a 100% chance on a 4-turn cooldown. The cooldown is a bit long, but the counter attack is fairly solid, and he has alright base stats as well. So you can put him in like a frost set, in a 2-piece set or 4-piece set, and you can get some additional value from that as well. And really solid. I run 2 of these as a +4 and is a really great champion. Then he has a Veil and Continuous Seal buff. Again, it's on a 2-turn cooldown. It's not crazy, but it's on a 2-turn, and in like Curse City and stuff, you can put the champion under Veil, especially when you like your tap base, to stop them being targeted. And also the A1 is fine. It's a leech, which is okay against bosses, but nothing too crazy there, if I'm being honest. I actually used him in hard faction wars as well, for the AoE provoke, and made the stages very easy for myself, so I wasn't relying on the provoke stages. And there is other legendaries in this faction that have AoE provoke, but it's not on 100% cooldown. When you're kind of investing in like CC, you want it to be on 100%. So as an epic champion, very solid as well. He's defense based, a great survivability, so that's no reason to kind of go for it. And his resistance is kind of alright as well, so you can build some resistance if needed to. Even in early game content, you can build them up as level 50 and just use them for wave-based clear for faction wars as well. So like normal faction wars, Soul Cross, Curse City is a really solid pick. So that's going to be my first champion today. The second one is going to be in the High Elves. Again, there is a lot of bad legendaries in this faction, but a lot of good epics, and that's what we're playing with. So some decent shout outs. Obviously, we have Ethan of Gold, which is really solid. AoE, great damage dealer as well. We have Jungle Hunter, which is fairly good. We have this guy as well, which is really, really good. She's okay. She's not too bad. And then we have Tayrao as well, really good synergy. We have Vergus as well and Rogard, all top tier epics in their own rights. But for today, my pick is going to be Scam. I can't even pronounce that name. Not even gonna lie, but I use this guy all the time. He has really good synergy in S19 for soul cross synergy, with Tyrell. It's also the same faction. And what happens is this ability here, if the targets are under decreased attack, then you can put the enemies into a AoE sleep as well as doing a defense down. And what does this guy has? He has a 75% chance to add a AoE decrease attack, and then you can increase that from masteries as well, which is really great. And then this guy also has a 100% chance to place a provoke on a 3-turn cooldown, so you can go like a reflex set and impulse, which is what I tend to run him in. I still run him in hard mode as well with the 2 on high elves up to stage 18, which has pretty much carried me on my account, which is really, really good. Then he has a stun on the A1 if he fully completes a 10 meter on A1. Then he has a HP or in all battles. So like again, really solid for faction wars, and you can use HP base. So it's a great candidate for bolster as well for hard faction wars as well. So there's some really, really solid champion, and probably one of the best epics in the game, in my opinion, where we're talking about crowd control epic, and crowd control is very, very important. Base stats are not too bad as well, and he has really, really good synergy with these. These two definitely should be in most people's faction wars for hard mode and normal as well. But again, you can use them also across S19. So when you're investing in champion, you want more value in champions. Next one is going to be Barbarian, but I wanted to give a noble shout out to a couple of epics in here, which I think people should invest in. Fenix is 1, Mordecai 2, Cardial 3, Gossi 4, and Samuel 5 as well. I think all of them are great epics for most people to be investing in. But the next one is going to be a Barbarian, which is going to be number 3 on my list, which is going to be really, really strong. So there is a couple of noble shoutouts as well in this faction. We have Falcon of Fat, Haikatoon, who's a free champion. We also have Alika as well, which is a great champion. Scottish Shaman is not too bad. And DJ Djam she's not too bad as well. But my actual vote is going to go down to this guy. Now, again, in this guy, in Faction Wars, if you don't have a Armads, you can use this guy with Cedar Drakes, and he'll just lock down the waves. He's really, really strong. He has an increased resistance, small version, and an increased defense, which is great for HP damage dealer. So if you have a damage dealer like Freya, who is a defense base, you can increase her defense, which is really, really important for faction wars on normal and hard. He will remove all stuns as well from all allies as well, so it's a really great option as well. This is on a 410 cooldown, which is not bad for an epic. He hits fairly hard with this ability as well, so I build him some damage with Curse City, and he does do a bit of damage. One's like a +4 4-star awaken or something like that. He'll attack all enemies, and then he has a 75% chance to place a stun debuff for 1 turn. He also decreases the turn meter if the enemies are under stun by 15 as well, which is really, really strong overall. So really, really strong kit. I use him in Soul Cross Curse City as well. Haven't used him in Faction Wars because I got Armand, so that's something that I will be honest about. He also has a stun on E1 as well, which is a 40% chance, so you can take Face of Presence to make this stronger as well as A2, which is great. He has a defense aura in the Faction Crypt for 30, which is fine. And then he is immune to stun debuffs and increases the damage inflicted by all allies by 15% when attacking enemies under a stun debuff as well. So one thing I do with him is I set him with Grush, right, on Soul Cross Curse City. I increases the increased defense, and then I nuke with Grush as well, which you'll see later on in today's list. So speed's a bit bad, but everything else is not too bad. Resistance is fairly good for epic. So a really, really solid one as well. So that's going to be my pick there. So we're going to head into the Ogre tribes, and yes, I kind of spoiled it already. So some noble shout outs in this faction for really top tier epics would be Siege Hulk, Shatter Bones for like crowd control is great. There isn't like a lot of good factions. Maneater could be a carry. Hugo Grim could be carry. This guy is not a bad damage dealer as well. Everyone else is kind of like mid tier in my opinion. But obviously, we all get him for free after 9 months of logging into the game. He is available for everyone, and that's going to be Grush the Mangler. Now, Grush the Mangler is really good for early game clan boss with the AoE Leech. He has a decreased attack as well, which is great, and he has an AoE continuous heal. So if you haven't pulled like a killable champion or anything like that, he can basically give you the survivability of not needing lifesteal, and you can go stalwart for clan boss team. I've covered that in a video a long time ago. So a great kit. It's got 2 AoEs as well, which are fairly good hard hitting abilities. I actually used him on Faction Wars normal back in the day as a damage dealer, and he is my damage dealer in hard mode as well, which is great. I put him in 9-piece merciless, and he just absolutely ruins the raves. You do need a 6-star Christian Rem for that, so just kind of take that into consideration if you want to build him up for Faction Wars. I will drop a video on him at some point. I've dropped a couple of videos on him before. I definitely have a video on him in Soul Cross as well. So I do use him as a damage dealer in Soul Cross Cuss City as well, and just has a lot of utility, and he is a free champion overall, so that's worth a shout out. Next one will be a Lizardman epic. The next Lizardman epic. The Lizardman has a really stacked roster, so it's worth noting in Doomtower Secret Rooms you have got all epic Lizardman factions, so there is a decent amount of good epics here. So we have Jog, Broadmoor, we have this guy. This guy's not too bad as well. This one's not too bad, and that's about it. Oh, and Aox as well is pretty solid. But it's all support, right? But for me, the shout out has to go to Vermage. Vermage, to this day, in my opinion, is still one of the best poison champions for PvE content. And he's an absolute menace as well. He's great for Curse City boss for 2 rotations for the heal reduction, as well as giving poison, so it adds a bit of damage, which is fantastic. So you can use them in 2 out of 4. There is also, they do every now and again, like a Lizard Man or Dragons only tournament, and he's also got a great kit for that as well. He can be in your dragon team for hard mode, faction, not faction wars. He could be in the hard mode for your dragon team as well, and also solo normal on Ice Golem and Dragon as well on the normal stages with the poisons. He has a decreased attack and decreased defense, which is okay against like faction war bosses as well, and brings the accuracy aura of 45 in all battles, which can really help you out in later stages of faction wars as well. He's a great champion to have a level 50 as well. He's great in early game clan boss as a damage dealer, as a poisoner as well. So depending where you pull him, great champion across the board throughout of all that. And that is my reasons to why I'd say it's worth investing in. Next one will be coming in Orcs, so we'll give a couple of shout outs in this faction. The best ones for me would be Basha, Steel Skull, this guy, which I don't actually have at the moment. The Hippo, they're probably like the 3 best ones across the board, and I guess this guy wouldn't be too bad as well as like a CC champion, but I still think the rare is better overall. There is also a couple of good champions in here for like niche content, but I don't think they're good to invest in across the board for every champion in this game. So the next one for me would be Orcs. And this one's a bit questionable if I'm being honest, but there is a couple of noble shoutouts. Obviously, Sia, Salash Survivor, Zargala, and Duke the Pierce, all amazing epics in this faction. And then we have this guy as well, which I don't actually use on my account. That's why it hasn't made the list. But I actually use Jarg, Old Hermit, a lot. So for me, I use him a lot in Curse City. The reason why I use him over him is just because I had him built before, and they kind of have the similar roles, right? Both got a revive, which is great. Both of them have great survivability. This champion gives me an increased attack and turn meter fill of 30 in all battles on a 3-turn cooldown, which I really like. And then he has an A1 as well. I probably would have used him in hard mode faction wars as well um if I didn't have Rackler, right, for faction wars, but he's definitely a great champion for faction wars. And I think it's really a toss out between these two, which one you invest in. I wouldn't invest in both because they're both like very similar term champions. This guy has like a 10 meter, sorry, a heal, etc. He has a revive as well, which is a revive, which is a bit better. But the term meter is questionably strong as well on the other dude. So it depends on what you're kind of missing in the teams. I think it's really hard to say which two are better between them. So for me, that would be my pick because I do use him again on a regular basis, and that's why I've picked him over this one. So next one as well would be coming down to Demon Spawn. She was one of my first champions I ever invested in for Arena when I first started playing Raidshadowlegends, and she was one of 2 Void Epics I did get. There is some noble shoutouts in this faction like Allure, this girl as well, which is not too bad. Akcha as well, and then you have Magma as well, which is really great. But for me, the main one I'd invest in first would be Umbros Chances, because Umbro Chances is great for locking down wave clear. She's only one of a few champions, one of 4 champions now in the game that provokes AoE. Provoke, I think the ones are Molly and Angar, and I think there's a mythical as well that does provoke for 2 turns, which is really strong. Ability also has Unkillable, which is great as well. You can actually blocked out the skill with stone skins. That's one thing you can kind of do there as well. She has also block boss, which is kind of useful in like early game Hydra, but I wouldn't really kind of go too much into her with that ability. But for faction wars hard mode and normal, again I did use her for Demon Spawn, which is great, much better than investing in a provoke set and less frustrating. Has A1 as well, which is fine. You can use her in early game arena as a provoke champion to lock down waves with like an arbiter. You can use her with that type of strategy as well in 3 vs 3, which is really strong. And she's also a void, so there's not much you could have to worry about. You use her in early game like bronze or silver in live arena as well. Just build her, speed tune her, and then build her up with like enough accuracy to land that ability. So really good. I don't think she's in Soul Cross for anything, if I'm being honest, but definitely got a good utility across the board with the content we mentioned. Next one will be a interesting one. This is a fan favorite of mine. So there is a lot of good epics in this faction. We have Gorgo, Catlet Counter. He's okay for like the ally attack, and but in faction was hard mode, and he's good in Curse City as well against a finite. We have Seeker as well. We have Husk, which is great in Hydra and Wave Bait Clear and Nuka, and we have Volgath as well. We have this dude who I've been kind of liking as well for AoE sleep stage on the hard mode, but again I don't really use him in Curse City. And then their mage is really solid as well. I didn't even realize I didn't have this guy. That's kind of interesting. So for me will be Hexia. So Hexia, I've made a couple of videos on her before. She's a great single target based damage dealer with really good multipliers. Back in the day, we used to call her the budget Rhodus, right? Back in the day. So she has an E1, which hits fairly hard with the defense down, which is great against bosses in like faction wars normal. I don't know if she has I guess you could use her in hard mode as well if you use like AoE Nuka for the waves, but there's definitely some utility there for hard mode. I use her in Soul Cross a lot in Curse City, and she just pretty much just eats everything against a double Cubidus and Venus as well, which is really great. She does weak hit, but all of them weak hit when you have to do that. It's just RNG factor the raid like to play on us. She has really good base attack as well for epic. Speed could be better. And then she has A1, which gives a big, strong version of increased attack. It was a way of increasing her damage as well, which is great. And she will get extra turn as well, which is fantastic. And then she has like a increased speed for herself. And then she has a heal factor as well for each debuff, etc. A really, really great kit overall. And attack aura in crypts as well. So for me, really solid one for her as well. Big fan. I do use her a lot in Curse City. Next one will be Dark Elf, right? Dark Elf faction as well. So there is a decent amount of Dark Elf factions in this faction. You have Dark Kale, which is not bad. It's like Poisoner. You have Spider, which is fairly good against like defense down or weaken. This guy hits really, really hard, which I will do a video on him at some point in the future. This girl's not too bad. Who else do we have? Man Cerise and Cyrus are fantastic Void epics as well. But my pick is actually going to be Caden. Now, for the reason for me, I think Caden's the best reviver in his faction out of all the revivers when we're talking about epics. So that's going to be one of the reasons why I pick him. He has got Provoke on the A1, which is great against Soul Cross as well, Curse City. I use him a lot there. And to be honest, if I didn't have Blindseer, I probably would have used him in hard mode factions. And he's great in faction wars as well, across the board, normal and hard. He has a Provoke here, so it helps against Provoke stages, which is a single base. He's defense base, he has great survivability. His HP is a bit low, but could be better. He has an AoE as well for the decrease attack as well, which is amazing. Helps for survivability against waves and a boss. And then he has a revive on a 4-turn cooldown, so you can go like a reflex and impulse kind of situation, which would speed us up to be more as well. So really, really strong with that. It also gives it increased defense for that as well. So for me, Caden is definitely in there. This faction has 3 revivers. I think she's a revive. No, she's single. And then you have this guy, which I think is, yeah, single as well. And there isn't really anyone else I think of that can revive there. And then Blindseer can revive, which is a void legendary. A lot of people won't have her. And yeah, that's about it. I don't think there's anyone else in here that can. So let's go into Night Revs then. So Night Revs, we have 3 epics to go. Has a lot of decent epics, honestly. We have Doom Priest, we have Whisper, we have this girl as well, not too bad. Golden Reaper's not too bad. Skull Crown's not too bad. This guy is not too bad as well. Senna is niche for like clan boss teams early game, and Ret to Draft is great for like Hydra and stuff for Veils. Miscreate is great for like CC in the waves, etc. Can do some early game content in dungeons. But for me, across the board, I think Sinasha is going to be the epic we pick. I actually have 2 of these epics maxed out, and I use them in Curse City, Soul Cross as well. As a great arse on her. But yeah, she is definitely one of them. She hits really hard on this ability in like blender comps for arena, so it could be a strategy if you just want to farm gold 5, especially like the lower tiers. It's still a variable strategy with like ally attack and etc. But she's great in a AoE stun set because AoE on A1 is great for that. So you can run her as a nuke or support with that. She has like a mini lockout on E1, and then she has like some type of heal situation. It's just great for faction wars on hard mode. And back in the day when I cleared normal, I had to run 2 of these because I wasn't actually a reviver in a game. I cleared it before Ret to Draft, etc. was added, and now the faction has 3 revivers, which is speaks volumes of like how faction wars has become really, really more accessible and obviously become more mid-game content now. So faction wars really difficult back in the day. It's probably harder than hard faction wars now, if I'm being honest. Because like a lot of the factions wasn't even achievable back in the day. So for me, I use her in Soul Cross a lot. I do did use a little bit in hard mode, but I have a very stocked out roster in legendary, so it's really hard for me to put her in this. But for someone that hasn't got like a stacked account as much as me, I definitely she's got some great value in hard mode as well. So we've got 2 epics left then. The next epic for me is going to be a dwarf champion. A dwarf champion, there's a couple of good dwarfs in here: Rockbreaker, Malga, Demitha, Runekeep, and Rearguard Sergeant. They're probably like the main ones. Then you got a couple of niche ones down here as well. But the main one for me would be Morgate. Morgate is amazing DPS champion. She can do a lot of damage on E1 and E3. She has ally attack as well, which is great for Curse City. There's a lot of stages in Curse City, Soul Cross area, where she's evolved, like the finite stages, the double bosses, S19. There's just a lot of them where 2 of these are really, really strong. Obviously, as well, and dwarfs, you have the ally attack stage as well, which is going to be really, really strong. And having 2 of these available is going to be the way to go. She also has a counter attack right into her kit, yeah. So she has like a counter attack in her ability as well as ally attack. Really, really strong. And having 2 of them, great base stats as well. Honestly, great base stats for me. One of my favorite epics in the game. I've made a couple of videos on her as well. And I know a couple of content creators have as well. So we'll take a look in Shadow King. I don't feel like there's a lot of good epics in Shadow King, if I'm being honest, but like the top 3 would probably be her, Palmer Head, Taragi, and this guy. There isn't like a lot here, but none of them made the list, to be honest. For me, it's going to be Silver Watchers, and you guys probably know which one I'm going to pick, to be honest. But again, noble shout out to these. We have now Neil, which is not too bad. And then you have this guy, it's not too bad, and then this guy, it's not too bad. But overall, for me, it has to be Darfies. Right, Darfies is a great champion. Again, I actually have 3 of these epics max, and I use 3 of them in Curse City, which is fantastic. And so he's going to be really good in Faction Wars as a DPS champion in hard mode and normal. I actually used them all the way up until stage 21. And I was struggling to freestyle a little bit, but I didn't actually try double Darfies, which might be a strategy in the future. In the end, I used the login champion, right, which I made a video on the other day, but he was still in my team. It's defense down. It's got great abilities against the boss. Go and watch that video if you want to know a bit more about him. I made him a couple of videos on him in Curse City as well. He's great in Curse City across the board. There's multiple stages where Darfies comes in across the board for Soul Cross. So invest in at least 2 of them, again, is fantastic to do for Curse City, especially for empowerment as well. I have 1 that's +4. I gotta get the other 2 to +4 now. So yeah, none of them are fully awakened yet, which is kind of, meh. But what can you do? Anyway, guys, that is it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoy it. As usual, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be looking forward to returning back. There will be a live arena drop in before or just after this video, so go ahead, check that out. And yeah, as usual, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. I've been Grim. See you next one. Take care. Peace.